Hello, this is Sue Wachowski from Irreversibly Moi, and I am delighted to introduce you to Miss Helen Peterson of MissHelenPeterson.com and Poppy Seeds Academy. We're so excited to talk to you today, Helen, and I know that our community is going to just love what you offer and just your warm personality. So why don't we jump right in and tell us a little bit about you?
Thank you so much, Sue. It's a pleasure being here. It's always a pleasure talking to you. We've just connected over the last couple of weeks, and I've really enjoyed that.
Me
Um,
too.
Thank you. So what do? I do a whole bunch of things, but at the crux of everything is connecting people to their essential self and managing their time around that. Now, I know that sounds kind of weird because, like, time management, we kind of go, ugh, like that doesn't feel good so much. And then essential self, that's very much a feeling thing. But I'm kind of what happens when you squish a high priestess with someone obsessed, really, with time. Like, when you put those things together, you get me. And so
Right.
I
Okay.
really wanted to find a way that women, particularly, could start living more fulfilling lives based on our time. I noticed we were all going crazy trying to live up to Pinterest, live up to the magazines, trying to do it all, and we're not nurturing ourselves, and we're not
Right.
taking care of ourselves. So I developed this holistic time management.
Wonderful. And I know I've been following along. I actually attended one of your webinars and got to know you and what you do a little bit better. And I think it's really cool. Um, so what is Poppy Seeds Academy?
So Poppy Seeds Academy is a lifelong dream of mine. It's actually been in the works for many years. I've always been kind of obsessed with time and the seasons and how our biorhythms go with the seasons as humans, even though we like to pretend that we're separate. We're not. And finally, I got to birth it this year, which was great. It's a year-long course, and each month we do some sort of project. This month, January, which is now last month, but we're actually doing a vision board art project. So write down your guys'
Right.
family. So some different projects like that to reconnect with us, and then also some basic planning stuff. What are we eating during this type of during this month, during the season? What's available? What's good for us? What does our house need? What does our family need? So it encompasses such an overhaul of one's life that I really wanted to make it a year-long, month-by-month progression so it's not overwhelming and scary.
Right, right. Because it does seem to encompass so many different areas of your life. That could be a lot to bite off at one time.
Oh my gosh, so much. Oh, I should have.
Right. Okay. Well, do you yourself keep a journal or do art journaling?
I keep lots of different journals, and actually, I just happen to have one on my desk. And this is more of an art journal, but it's not, well, I don't know. So I don't know what you can see, but so I've done a little like collaging, but I just use it like as a journal. I'm not making myself feel like, oh, it has to be something. So then I will also have like just random scribbles here of whatever came to mind, or um, I'm starting working on a page that I want to give to the people in my community, and so I've just done like a rough sketch when I was at the park with my daughter. So I do keep a journal here. I keep one upstairs by my bed because I like to get everything out before you go to sleep. I don't want to bring any anxiety with me while I'm trying to get good sleep. And then I
That's
also
great practice.
get it out. Don't take it with you. And then I have nightly pages that I do that actually, when your lovely people follow the link you'll get them, they will get to download. And it asks a couple of questions like, what am I proud of myself for today? And what am I grateful for today? Among other things, because I think these are really crucial, important things that we touch base on.
They are, and they're great reminders. I think women particularly are real bad at self-love and self-care. And I think that we do need reminders as to why we're good, why we're worthy. And we have that canyon speak where we're telling ourselves all the negative things, and we hear that about ourselves. So I think it's real important to focus on why we're proud of each other and what we're grateful for. That's awesome.
And ourselves, yeah. Why am I proud of me? Because if I can't be proud of me, how am I going to teach my daughter to be proud of her? Right? It's
Right, absolutely.
We think of ourselves as like separate, like not like superheroes, but that nonchalant, like I can handle this, I can shoulder the world, I'll just do it, I can just take care of it, and then we don't realize the legacy that we're passing on to everyone that's watching us, or our family, the people we work with, everybody.
Right, absolutely. Now, you mentioned before that you're what happens when you combine a high priestess with someone who is obsessed with time. So, do you consider yourself a high priestess?
Yeah. Yes,
Could
I do.
you explain to our community, if they're not familiar, what that would mean?
It's different in different paths, so people use that word differently. For me, I have a circle of women that we get together at least monthly, sometimes more. We come together to celebrate the seasons, we come together to celebrate the moons, and I passed a unanimous vote. So
Aw.
everyone does it differently. It also means that I teach, and I have been, not online, but offline, teaching about living seasonally and that kind of thing for maybe 15 to 20 years. I kind of lose track after after a while. And different spiritual practices, which are kind of, as you said, and how I talked about in the last webinar I did, we think of spiritual as one thing, but really when it comes down to it, it's self-care. It's how we love ourselves as part of this world, as part of everything else. And so for my particular group, some high priestesses have particular spiritual paths, particular traditions, particular things that they must follow, they must do. Our group, we call it a sovereign tradition, which means, you're sovereign unto yourself. And everybody that needs something will say, hey, I would like to do this. I would like, obviously the baby showers and when someone passes, we're there as a community. But hey, I think this is a really important thing. I want to do something around the garden. Wonderful. We will support you. Let's go do that. So whatever they need, we as a group go and do.
Oh, that's fabulous. I
It's
think every woman should have a group like that in their lives.
It's such a blessing. It's such a blessing. And it's been, I mean, I can just look back over the last couple of years, and when my mother had her health issue, I mean, they were there. Right there. What do you need? What do you need? And it's that community that, yeah, it's such a blessing, and it's really sadly lacking in a lot of different places these days. So again, we kind of get that closed off feeling like we need to do everything ourselves. And it's so nice to have that sisterhood there.
Absolutely. And I think for myself, that's something that I lack, moving from the busy East Coast out to the middle of nowhere in Missouri and working from home. I really don't get to meet people. And
Right.
I do miss that sisterhood. I do have some good friends, but you can't expect one or two people to be there for absolutely everything. So
Yeah.
that's such a value to have each other in your lives.
It's
Now, do you the spirituality part of it, the sovereignty, do you work with clients on that topic?
I work with clients if they want to talk to me about it. I don't feel, and that goes back to why it's sovereign, is I don't care what someone's particular spiritual path is. Um, Not that I don't care. I think that we all need some sort of practice there, but whether they believe X, Y, or Z makes no difference to me. I want them to pick the path that's right for them and connect to them. So when I'm working with, like, say, Poppy Seeds Academy, we are doing a little of that because we're trying to connect back to our essential self. And that essential self is, kind of a very spiritual
Mhm.
part of us, that deep, deep self. But whether that deep, deep self wants to go to church or wants to meditate or wants to do yoga or wants to go on a pilgrimage,
Mhm.
that's between that person and that person's deep self. So I will work with them, but I'm not telling them how they should practice or how they should
Right.
be. Does
That's
that make sense?
very individual, absolutely. That's,
Absolutely.
now, if someone were to go to misshelenpeterson.com, what would they find there?
Well, right now they would find a really beautiful site, thankfully designed by a friend of mine, Rain, because I really love art, which is why I found you. It's watercolor, and they would find the beginnings of a community. So we're just starting, we're just growing, but we eventually will have a section for adults, for kids, and for business. So I do work with mostly spiritual business women, and definitely our overbooked, overwhelmed spiritual mamas are kind of my specialty, right? Because we have our humongous to-do list and our humongous everything on our plate. When your peeps go, they are going to be able to click on a little link and they will get that nightly sheet that I talked about, and then also a time map that I developed that really helps you look at your day. And I wish, having said that, that I now had one on my desk, but I don't. And it's a breakdown of your day and also a breakdown of looking at how you're spending your time, kind of categorizing it out. Are you spending time on fun? Fun is essential.
It is. It is. I know I'm going to be afraid to do that time map because my time, it seems to be all over the place, and as women, as a single mom, I
Yeah.
spread myself way too thin, and the one that always misses out, the one that always gets the back burner is me, and that's probably why I've taken 2.5 weeks to get over this cold or whatever, because the laundry still needs to get done, the dishes need to get done, the
Mhm.
people in the house need to be fed and working, and
They want
somewhere in there I'm
to
supposed to take care of myself. Wait a minute.
right.
You can still hear my voice is hoarse after 3 weeks because, hey, I don't get to take care of myself, so I'm afraid of that. But I will do it because I know it would be um, a really valuable exercise.
And it's not a done deal. It's not like, oh, I look at it and my gosh, I have it by color. So fun is orange. I have no orange this week. Oh my gosh. It's like, okay, I had no orange last week. And look, I've got an hour of it this week. Or, wow, I have pink is family. I have like an entire week of pink. Like we are all about family this week. That's great. Wow, next week I am all about green. I'm all about work. It's okay. It's not supposed to be perfectly balanced every week. And nature kind of teaches us that, right? If you think about the way the sun moves, we have 2 equinoxes a year. We are perfectly balanced twice a year with light and dark. The rest of the time, we're swinging on this pendulum. So if you're not perfectly balanced, if you're somewhere on this pendulum, it's okay. It's just an education tool to help you get to a place where you're feeling more comfortable. So
I
don't
think
be
that's
scared.
terrific, really, and just hearing you say that it's okay, and that it can be fluid and things are going to change and come into balance. Um, it's very comforting because you think, oh, my schedule's like this. Oh, don't have any time. But eventually it will settle out, and you can make the necessary adjustments when you see too much work or too much fat. Well, you really can't have too much family, but when you're letting other things slack because of family responsibility. So that's
It's going
great.
to be the other way too. I mean, it's never going to, like I said, twice a year, maybe you're in balance. But, my daughter gets sick. Well,
Mhm.
that's my priority. Everything else is going to go, right? And that's okay. I'm not going to be like, wow, I should have really kept a more balanced schedule this week. No, that's my priority. That's what my essential self needs. My essential self needs to be mama. So it's different for
Absolutely.
everyone, but that's me.
How do you help someone who is frustrated creatively? So maybe they don't feel they have enough time to pursue artistic um, explorations, or perhaps they really desire to, but they're so that they can't feel and work creatively.
Right.
What
Well,
advice would you give them?
there's a couple different ways, and some of them are more loving than others. I like to think of someone as like kind of your biggest fan, biggest cheerleader, but I'm also a bit of a tough coach. So if someone's telling me I don't have time, I don't believe them, firstly. I hear that from everybody. Nobody thinks they have time. However, I see most of you people that don't have time on Facebook. So there's time there. um,
Absolutely. I love Facebook. It's fabulous to connect with people, but it is the biggest time suck.
and yeah, actually, literally, they've done studies. It literally takes our time, and we don't think about it because it's on our computers, it's on our phones. We don't think about it. It's subconscious. Like, oh, I'm just gonna check. I'm just gonna check one thing,
Yeah.
and then we're there for 2 hours. We go down the rabbit hole. So, firstly, I don't believe people, but I say, okay, well, let's look at a time map. Let's do an audit. Let's see how you're spending your time. Write down how you're spending your time. And they'll say, oh, well, yeah, there was a little bit here, or there was a little bit there, or, okay, that's great. But if there's the block of like, I can't do it, I don't want to do it, I want to do it, but I don't want to do it, then we need to look at what's that block. So what's going on? So the first thing I have people do is do like a brain dump. Tell me everything that you feel like you have to do right now, and everybody you feel like you owe something to. And I've done that myself when I get like a little, we all do. And have like pages of things that you think you have to do. And the last time I did it, I think I came up with like 45 people that I felt like I was responsible for. It's like, I'm not responsible for them.
Pressure.
That's a lot of pressure. I may have interactions, but I'm not responsible. So we look at that. We try to group like things by like on their list, see what can be delegated, see what's not really important, see like what needs to just be given away, kind of get to the crux of what's really going on. And a lot of it, I said this on my webinar too, and everything, a lot of the I can't is I feel like I'm not good enough, right? And that's why for me, this journal that's like a hodgepodge of scribbles and paint is perfect because it's not trying to be perfect. It's not trying to live up to Rembrandt. It's not going to be Georgia O'Keeffe. It's what's for me. It's what I need to be there. So if I can just start doing, just do one page. Just do one page, see how it feels. And often when they allow themselves to let go of that perfection and know, okay, I'm going to do this page and it's not going to be perfect, they can just do it. They can just go, and you'll see they'll say, oh my gosh, because we do a lot of art stuff too, but I don't teach them how. I let them do whatever their heart calls for. Oh my gosh, I thought I couldn't do it, and I just did 5 pages, or I just did the whole background of a book, or I did a collage, or I took this great photo. I spent all afternoon taking photos. So a lot of that lives in that I'm not good enough, and we have to get rid of that.
And when you can get rid of that, it takes the pressure off, and I think does unblock your creativity. In a webinar I held last night, Awaken Your Soul Through Art Journaling, we talked about how art journals could really be anything, and they're as individual as the person who is creating them. So whether yours is scribbles and doodles or crayon marks, or whether it's magazine cutouts or little doodles and sketches or photographs, it's unique to you, and it speaks volumes about who you are and what fears and insecurities and issues and stuff that you're dealing with.
And it's so amazing to have that safe place where you can be yourself, where you can, again, connect back to that essential self and just be you there, and okay being you, because you are wonderful. You are fantastic just as you are. So the more places we can create in our life, like art journals, where it's okay to just be us, it's beautiful. I think it will probably literally change the world, because if women can get okay with who they are, it will change society. It will change everything.
And to have the freedom to create just for you without the pressure that you have to share the picture online or it has to go up at an art museum, that it's
right.
really just for you. And I think that's freeing.
Yes, I agree so much. Yeah, you need those spaces that are just yours. Think of it like the teenage or preteen diary that has the little lock and key on it, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, goodness, I'm so glad I don't know where mine are. I'm sure they're burned by now.
Hopefully your kids don't have them.
Yeah, no, I don't think they made it in our move, and that's a good thing. So, oh goodness, that would definitely be that would be a YouTube moment because I could just see them reading through it and the rest of the world knowing about all of my indiscretions as a teen.
But sometimes it's really good to go back and look at it and be like, that's fantastic. Look at what I was stressed out about. Look at what I thought was so important. Oh my goodness, and get a little perspective. So if you ever do find them, I bet, a glass of wine and a little night reading them would probably be
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that sounds about right. And it really is a matter of perspective because even the things that are stressing me today,
Oh yeah,
I'll bet in a few weeks when I go back and look and think, why was I getting so wigged out about that? Really, it all works out.
right.
So,
No one's gonna die,
no,
really.
and we're our own worst enemies as women.
Right.
We
Yeah.
really are. So you mentioned that you have the Poppy Seeds Academy, which by the time this airs, I think the doors on that will be closed.
It will be for 2015, yes, but you can get on the wait list for 2016.
Okay.
Which I know is
Um,
a time, but
but it's well worth it. It really is well worth it to really address all those different issues. What
and
are some other things that are on the horizon, whether at the short term or long term, for Ms. Helen Peterson?
there's a couple of really great things on the horizon. There is so I am obsessed with time, as we said. So I'm a planner. I like things having planned out. I like things having planned out because then I have freed up my time. I don't need to think about what's for dinner every night if I sat down for 15 minutes and thought, what's for dinner? And now I have half an hour to do my art or do whatever it is because I'm not wondering what's for dinner and I need to go shopping. So I'm a planner. So I have a kids activity planner coming out because when I just had my baby 5 years ago, I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do with a child. And so as a planner, I came up with themes for the month and like different activities and stuff. So that's coming out. I also do business masterminds for spiritual people, and I think I'm going to be opening up another one of those probably mid-February.
Oh,
And then there's a couple of classes that are going to be coming out in the next couple of months. One is time management turnaround, which is just kind of like a very short, let's get ourselves back on track sort of thing. We're all about New Year's resolutions for the first 3 days of January. And
right.
then by the end of January, we're like, what happened? And we're beating ourselves up. But what happened is we didn't give ourselves systems. So that's all that happened. You're wonderful. There's nothing wrong with you. You just need systems. It's okay. And then practical priestessing for the modern world. So again, connecting to our central self, but in the reality that we all live in, with the kids needing you and people needing dinner every night. And yes, the laundry has to be done. So all of that taken into account.
Right. Oh, that sounds great. I know that you'll provide us some links when things start
Absolutely.
happening, and we'll share them. And on the resources to lift and inspire you on Irreversibly Moi, you'll also find some links to Helen's site and her programs and all the great ways that she can help you creatively and practically. So we'll also have links for where to find her on social media, how to get on her list, and keep up to date on all the good things that are coming down the road. And so we'll be sure that our folks can find you. So I have a few fun questions for you. I call this the fun tidbits. And no pressure, no pressure. What is your favorite snack food?
Ooh, favorite snack food, popcorn. Love popcorn.
Yeah, and
Popcorn with
that's a fairly healthy one. I'm pretty impressed.
when I was single, I could eat popcorn with butter for dinner, like 5 nights a week. No,
Oh my.
that sounds horrible, but I love it.
There could be worse. There could be worse vices than popcorn with butter. What or who is your favorite musical artist or band today?
Oh, today? Like today, the current, or today, this is who I think of right now? Because I would say Nina Simone.
Today, because it could if you're anything like me, that's who my favorite changes every other day.
I was like current. I'm not quite sure, But Nina Simone, the Beatles, I love that. Beach Boys. I'm a California girl, so I grew up with that. The Eagles. I mean, all of those. Right, depending on the mood. Who do I need today?
Right. Fun, and you got to have that California. It's in the blood, right?
Yeah, you're born into it.
What book or books are you reading now?
Oh, what books am I reading? So I usually have like three going on at a time. I just finished We Free Men, WEE, by Terry Pratchett, who I love. I think Terry Pratchett is amazingly brilliant and hilarious, which is why he's so funny, is because he's so smart. Um, but it's a fiction. I'm reading a couple of business books, and I'm gonna forget the author's name, but Jab 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 Right Hook,
Oh, okay. I just ordered that.
his name. And then
That's Seth. Is that the Seth Godin book?
I think that's his name. That could be his name. It's hard because so I went to Kindles, which are a little bit difficult because for me, I'm a visual person. That's another reason I like planners and art journals and that kind of thing. So I can't picture the cover of the book. I can't picture the name on the cover. I'm just like, oh, my Kindle, what's in there? I have a fashion book that I'm reading by Nina, who's on Project Runway. I think it's called the Top 100 or something like that. And then I always have oodles and oodles of children's books that I'm reading. So like Blueberry Girl and Goodnight Stars, I think is what it's
Ah,
called. So all of those, all at the same time.
ah, right. I tend to have at least one fiction and one nonfiction book going at any one time, and then multiple art books that I
Sure.
pull out every time I sit down for inspiration. So I get that. Um, what is a TV show you can't miss?
My husband and I love Mike and Molly,
Yeah.
which we just find hilarious. Used to really like How I Met Your Mother, but that one's gone. And then other than that, Little and I tend to watch The Kitchen, which is on Food Network, I think, on Saturday mornings. It's like a little talk show, and they have little, recipes that they're doing. And my little likes to cook with me, so we sit down and we watch it. He says, "Mommy, can you make me that? Can you make me that? Can you make me that?"
Well, it does get better though because my 17-year-old is preparing to go to culinary school, and he
Oh.
cooks probably 4 nights a week here, cooks breakfast a few days a week, tries different recipes. So keep cultivating that interest in her, and you may really free up some time as the years go on.
I hope so. That would be great.
Coffee or tea?
Both. Depends on the day. So I almost always have tea throughout the day. If it's a particularly packed day, there will be coffee in the morning. Sometimes I go weeks with coffee. Sometimes I go black tea, green tea, any type of tea. I literally have. I will put a picture on Instagram. You can see it. I have a drawer of tea bags, like all the different
Oh,
kinds. So,
oh,
but both.
true
Always.
tea connoisseur. Do
I
you
love.
go tea bag or the loose tea leaves?
Again, both, depending on how it comes, depending on what it is, and depending on where it's going with me. So if I'm going to on vacation, I take my tea with me, and that's usually coming in bags because you don't want to explain loose tea to
No.
anyone.
Yeah.
If I'm
Really,
running,
officer, it's just tea.
where? Give me some water. I'll show you. Um, if I'm running around town and I need just want to have it with me, I'll bring the bags. If I'm gonna do it at home, I like to use my French press a lot. I love it. I love it.
All right. And one odd thing we probably don't know about you.
One odd thing you don't know about me. Oh my goodness, so many odd things about me. The thing that most people are surprised about when they meet me is that I am 5 foot tall. I am very short, and everyone says, "I expected you to be taller," and I don't know why, but that is the thing that I get most frequently commented out. That, and I can wear kids' shoes because I have small feet.
Oh my goodness.
I'm a
Well,
tiny
there
person.
you go. I honestly the few times that I've spoken with you and on video, and I would have assumed you were taller too. It's just that larger than life personality, I guess.
Really?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today and letting us peek into your world. And we'll be sure to share all the great places that people can find you and what you have going on our website. And I wish you a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.
So much. It was my pleasure being here.
Absolutely.